Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lemon Talks, a podcast by Lemonfridge Studio where we peel back the layers of design, lifestyle and everything in between. I'm your host Renee, and with me today is my co-host and CEO of Lemonfridge Group, Jeffrey. Today we are diving into something literally light up our lives, lighting. But not just your regular ceiling light or lamps. We are talking about the kind of lightings that changes how a space feels. And to help us unpack all of that, we have a very special guest today. Let's welcome Zhi Kai from Sol Luminaire, a homegrown lighting brand that has been redefining what good lighting can do for a home.
Hello everybody, I'm Zhi Kai. I'm the senior Marcom of Sol Luminaire, and thank you Jeff and Renee for having Sol Luminaire on board. I have been with Sol Luminaire for coming 7 years. Previously I was in the fashion industry, but also as a marketeer. So it's a pretty huge shift, I would say. I'm glad it's a good shift.
Is that why you bring the fashion element into the store?
I think it's also fortunate that my boss and I, we both have the same kind of design inspiration, the design trends that we want to work towards. So we try to incorporate a little bit of elements, different references to possibly bring another perspective for the local market.
When you guys just started Sol Luminaire, do you have different choices to step into this business? And why, in the end of the day, you all chose lights?
We had opportunities. It just somehow naturally filtered down to lights. I think the company has also sort of developed a little deeper just to really be the experts of it.
Lighting can completely transform a home. How do you usually educate the homeowners or the designers you work with?
At the base, trying to have the clients down to our retail stores, because lighting is intangible. No matter how much we try to describe it online or even in short form content, educational posts, it's not gonna be enticing until the clients or the designers experience it themselves. So that's a very key part for us to share.
How has lighting also evolved from those traditional fixtures to a lot of intelligent ecosystems in the house? What is this driving force that you guys can educate for the rise of these kind of smart systems?
When it comes to automation or when it comes to smart, it actually existed a long time ago, like early 2000s. I believe maybe some homeowners or even designers may have heard of this term called DALI, D-A-L-I. It's pretty commonly used in the European markets or even hospitality projects. Big brands like Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, so on and so forth. It tends to be a little bit pricier. Of course, developments from automation, brands are starting to pop up. But to answer your question, how is it going to enhance lighting? Convenience is one. Flexibility. Owners are free to customize as and when, as compared to classic switches.
Lighting is both functional and emotional. Lighting can make you feel differently about the space. What is the different lighting trends or recommended color tones that can appeal to different consumer?
Sol Luminaire was fortunate enough to find a sort of a gap in the market. Color tones, they are measured from a scale. So you can go from 1000 Kelvin, 2000 Kelvin, 3000 Kelvins, so on and so forth. But for Sol Luminaire, when we started out, we wanted to introduce warm white, which is situated at 3000K. At the start, there is a lot of resistance from the local appetite. Homeowners, or I would say the older IDs, they are used to 4000, 5000, which is sort of the cooler temperature.
Because they feel that they can see better?
Yeah. Which is a huge misconception. The color temperature is a bit technical, but it does not really affect directly to how well you see your objects. There's also another term called color rendering index. To really push out fundamentals is to have a color temperature that you are also comfortable in. At the end of the day, it still boils down to your personal preference. But we sort of advise.
So it's still personal preference.
There are also clients who are a little bit more flicker-minded. They want to have options. So that's where the tunable white systems come into play, where you can really control the warmer tones all the way to the cooler tones.
Being sustainable is quite an important topic now. How does Sol Luminaire work towards the sustainability?
For Sol Luminaire, on top of the production side of things, there is also energy consumption side of things. So these guys are built to last. Even if components fail, they are not being disposed irresponsibly. They are meant to recycle accordingly. Sustainability for us comes in power consumption. That's the main thing. Basically, we'll enjoy lesser consumption but a higher output. It kind of goes hand in hand throughout the whole R&D process also.
Sol Luminaire is not only just about your product but also how the brand presents itself. In such a competitive lighting market, how do you stay relevant and how do you differentiate yourself as a brand to stay ahead in the market?
Trial and error in the market. It wasn't always like roses without thorns. The digital side of things, how do we stay relevant, is more towards on keeping people interested. with what the company can actually offer, techniques that we can actually educate the clients online and offline. That's where they decide to visit the store. And that's where our frontliners would actually show them. The lights could actually curate sort of a experience for them.
You guys have always been trying to be ahead of the industry, and one of the things that you guys have been doing is to have different concepts for different places. Maybe you can share a little bit with us about the different places you have and the ideas and concepts behind all these different areas.
The concepts behind the stores are heavily driven by my bosses. We have a fair share of thoughts and also ideas. But I think what we wanted to achieve was to have concepts that can actually be mimicked to a home. You have your raw ceiling, brutalist kind of interior. So we're trying to mix and match a little bit just to give owners or even designers a hint of expression, saying that, hey, actually if you do this and that, that's how the lights can actually complement. But it's more to also showcase and basically give another alternative to the market.
Sol Luminaire has been in the market for quite some time. Through your experience, do you feel that the market has grown through the education and all, and also the information out there that homeowners get to learn more?
Homeowners, they tend to also accept that this is actually the kind of outlook that they want in their home. Somehow or rather, maybe technology advanced, data is more accessible. So when they do their homework, they realize that, this is actually what they are looking for.
We have been working very closely, and it's always a good support. Service has always been improving also. Maybe you want to talk about the good things about the services, because we understand that there's a good period of warranty.
I think a lot of homeowners during the renovation phase at least, they tend to sort of overlook. Let's say if you are in a BTO 5 years or even 10 years, the last thing you want to do is to actually be involved in replacements. As much as we push them through stress tests, so when things happen, owners or even the designers, just give us a call. We do have an in-house technician team. That department is specifically curated just to service. I think on-site warranty is a must, given Singapore's sort of appetite for service. So just have to keep a lookout.
Over the past few months, Lemonfridge has been promoting smart lighting, smart home. Because we believe that the future of home design is not just about convenience anymore. It's about creating a more sustainable lifestyle. Where do you see the lighting industry and smart home technology evolve in the next decade?
Smart home should be more acceptable for Singapore at least. It's going to cost a little bit more. But like what you mentioned, it's going to be a little bit more functional. It's going to be more sustainable in a sense that you don't have to really worry about reconfiguring. I think owners get the flexibility to preset or what we call configure scenes. It's just to really take the burden off of how you want to have your appliance or lights to accommodate to your lifestyle.
When it comes to smart home, Lemonfridge also thinks that it is a basic necessity, and every home should be smart lighted. When it comes to this, is a necessity, right? I think we need to solve affordability, also the reliability of a lot of different systems in Singapore.
For designers or homeowners who are implementing smart home, it's good to firstly check and know a little bit more about the software that you're getting. If you have a closed ecosystem, basically appliances need to only tally to their software. But if you have an open ecosystem, you can actually link different devices that are smart home enabled. But what's the more advanced is knowing sort of which supplier you're going to. You also want to have an assurance, be it off-site commissioning, meaning to say if things go wrong, you need to know how the company is able to support. And the third point I would say is affordability. If you are looking to go for a super high-end brand, you have to get ready to pay a bigger sum. But there are more affordable brands out there that is also reliable, that is also open ecosystem. So you just gotta keep a lookout.
At Lemonfridge, we really value collaboration, which is something Sol Luminaire is very strong at also. For many of our listeners and homeowners, do you have any advice that you can give them, especially when it comes to integrating lighting with interior design?
I think it should not be overlooked. When it comes to collaboration with designers or even to homeowners, we're trying to let the parties know that basically you don't want to step into the wrong direction. Otherwise, your house would just, no matter how grand it is, may just end up looking like a warehouse. So no matter how much terms or educational terms we try to educate the audiences, they may not be able to catch it until you see it and you understand.
So another thing we notice is that some homeowners likes to DIY for their own lighting plan. What's your take on this, and how important is collaboration for your brand, especially with interior designers and industry partners?
I think for Sol Luminaire's point of view, there are a handful of clients coming into DIY. What we will advise clients is if you are working with an ID, then it's better that we communicate with your ID, because renovation, they change. But for DIY clients, we were just trying to advise and see how it goes. With industry partners, then it's a different story.
Lastly, for all homeowners, I think it's easy to focus on all the furniture, paint and overlighting and all these kind of things. Why do you think it's important for homeowners to invest in good quality lighting like so? And then maybe you can share some exciting things that are going to come out this year.
Keep a eye out. In May, we will always do an annual launch. That's where new products are being tailored to not just Singapore market, it's more for regional. During May, June each period, we will have sort of some activities, products that are fitted for Singapore homes. Mainly. New launches, product launches. You guys definitely have to be here. One thing, it's mainly homeowners should also understand you don't want to live in a home that is sort of mimicking like a hospital or warehouse, right? Second thing is you have to note about service. Things may fail. Who is there to back you to render that kind of assistance?
Yep.
I think that's very important.
To our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. If you'd like to learn more about Lemonfridge and Sol Luminaire to see how we can help to transform your home or workspace, please do not hesitate to drop us a message, and be sure to follow us on Instagram for more ideas and inspiration on design, lighting and lifestyle. But until next time, this is Renee, Jeffrey from Lemonfridge and Zhi Kai from Sol Luminaire. Thank you.
Thanks.